in Rock Springs, Wyoming. I'm with my friend Kimbra in Los Angeles, California. And we were talking this week about a book by someone both Kimbra and I really like. Kimbra, tell us about the book.
Yeah, I got it right here. It's I don't know if you could see it. Andrew Yang, War on Normal People. Yeah, I've been waiting to read this because I had to finish this other book and I just got started, but so far it's really great because he's just kind of talking about what happened in America from like the 70s to start the ball rolling where people started, losing, not going upwardly mobile as we remember, our parents were, how easy it was to live the American dream. Yeah. And then he gets, right now he's more into education and talking about the demographics of different people and how some people are not as easy for them to get ahead. And so he's talking about the demographics, but I know it's going to get into artificial intelligence. And then eventually he's going to talk about his universal basic income. So, I remember you and I talked about UBI a couple months ago, maybe it was last year when he was running for president. And I remember at the time I kept thinking to about myself, I was like, I don't know if I agree with universal basic income because I know me, and if I know for sure I'm getting this little bit of amount of money every month, I will be lazy. That's what I won't try as hard. That's what I thought about myself. But, now that I'm understanding more and more about how bad it's going to be with AI, and a lot of people will be displaced by jobs. The number one thing I think in the beginning is going to be truck drivers, because I think that's definitely a wave in the future. I think it's like 25% of America or something like that makes their money from being a truck driver. And that's going to be one of the biggest jobs that goes away first, Yeah. So it's an interesting book,
Yeah, something to be very concerned about. What I really like about Andrew Yang, obviously, is, well, not obviously, but you and I have talked about it, so he's young. He understands the current economy. I think a lot of our politicians are, they're in their 70s and 80s, and they're still applying rules from 1970, 50 years ago.
Sure.
To today's economy, and we're not on the gold standard anymore. We've got the internet has changed how we do business, like the Industrial Revolution changed things, and our politicians haven't caught up with the new economy and how it works.
Sure.
So I think they're holding us back, and they're causing this wealth disparity. I think a lot of people that have been very fortunate to make a lot of money in recent years, even they understand. They're like, tax us. It's not conducive to keep the economy going this way. You can make all the products you want, but if people can't buy them, if they can't afford to buy them, you're not going to be successful. So,
and it's true. Go ahead.
I felt the same way about the UBI at first with Andrew Yang. I thought, he's just trying to buy us off and support the corporation so they can still keep making their billions and just throw us some crumbs. And a little bit, I still think that way. I still think wages need to be attached to profits. It gives everybody a buy-in to make a business successful. But the UBI, I'm coming around to it. Right. I still am not thrilled about it. Unless it's universal for everyone, and it comes from something that everyone uses, like it's something like the internet or whatever. He wants to tax. He wants
Bezos
to tax
and Amazon.
No. He wants to tax our data.
Oh, Google, yeah. That's a good idea.
And so for that, I'd be okay with that. It's not because I'm trying to, feel morally superior that I don't want a handout and I don't want other people to get one either. It's that I want it to be, I want it to work. I want it to be something that everybody embraces and feels that it's fair. I think he's forward thinking. His platform, he was in detail about so many issues.
When he was at the DNC, he was like, you could ask him any question and he was just like sharp. He was on it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a whole other, because he's modern. He's the
future. I mean, well, he's the now. Yeah, you're right. He shouldn't be the future. He should be the now. People need to start listening to him more. And, he's not the only one. There's other ones too that are up and coming. Sure. But I'm sorry, but these old timers need to pass the baton and let let the young people that understand what's going on in the world today start having
if you can, get with the program. I don't care how old you are, but just let's let's start thinking about the future and not the past. And then the other thing with what's going on, with COVID is it's really seeing the need for universal healthcare. I personally feel I would like to see universal healthcare, but also I wouldn't mind having something you can buy into if you can afford it. I mean, having universal healthcare for everyone, and then maybe another little package, like if people want the Cadillac, the Mercedes-Benz of healthcare, because hopefully it's going to be a step up from Medi-Cal or Medicare or whatever, Medi-Cal, because I have some friends that are in Medi-Cal, and I just, it's not a great way to go see your doctor. I don't think,
Yeah. Well, I think it's a basic right, your right to life. There was a time that we didn't have the medical facilities that we have now, so it wasn't an issue. So 100, 200 years ago, we didn't have hospitals, we had the neighborhood doctor, but we didn't have the medical capabilities that we have today. So it wasn't an issue, and it wasn't something they talked about. But I think even back then they would agree that you have the right to life, the right to live, and we have these all medical advancements. So I think everybody should have the equal ability to, because it's a roll of the dice. It's a game of luck. Yes, some people take more chances. Some people, don't live as healthy a life. They smoke, they overeat, or whatever. They eat poorly. But still, I think, that's part of being in a free country. We all treasure our freedom. So I do think that we should be able to have universal health. I think
it's a right. Yeah, because I've known a handful of people that did, quote, everything right, like lived a very healthy lifestyle, didn't smoke, didn't drink. And then they got some brain aneurysm, So
you can get hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Too.
So,
you didn't ask for that necessarily.
That's true. Good point.
So, anyway. And then the socialism thing comes up, and I'm not a socialist. I'm very much, I believe there's a place for capitalism in our society. It encourages innovation, but at a certain point, we need balance, and that's what happens. Everybody always they go too far with things.
Yeah, that's true.
We always go too far. We take it to the excess. In the 30s, 40s, 50s, we had gotten to the point where we were incorporating socialism into our capitalist society, and it was creating more of a balance. And then the capitalists decided they didn't like that, and they didn't want to be taxed on their millions. So, they fought back and kind of dismantled all of the socialist policies that kept that had a thriving economy for everyone. So everybody was a winner, instead of now we have winners and losers. And I just think we should have a more equitable opportunity. Some people are going to be lazy no matter what. I mean, they're lazy.
You point.
They go in and they collect their paycheck, and they're lazy, and everybody else is working harder, but they're there getting their paycheck because they have a job, they have to work.
Right.
So I don't know that money or lack of money, I know lack of money does motivate some people more, but I think money, that you're either competitive and an overachiever or underachiever or lazy or not. I really don't think the end result is what drives a lot of people. Like Jeff Bezos, he's just driven. He's driven to have more, and that could be because he wants more power. Who knows what's in his head. But so anyway, those are my thoughts on the UBI and
you've pointed out before that, which I never really thought about it this way. Not everybody is meant to be the overachiever driven, because if everybody was that way, we wouldn't have the little worker bees,
Yeah. And some people just want a simple life, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. Sure. I like that we're all different, because that fills in the holes. Sure. Like, not everybody wants to be the CEO.
Sure.
We all can't be. And not everybody wants to be a construction worker. Some people really like it. They're like, I don't want to have to think too hard. I don't want to, but they want
they're just good with their, they're good with their hands.
They want, and not saying that it doesn't take thought to be a construction worker, because, you have to be careful, and there's probably a lot more involved than I would have any idea, but we all have different strengths and weaknesses, different abilities, a basketball player. Some people, are built for it and some people aren't. Singer, you're a singer. And some people, I wish I could sing. It's not going to happen ever. So we have to use what our, whatever God given skills and talents to be our best, and not everyone is the best at everything.
Right.
So.
No, I understand. But speaking of overachievers, we were talking a little bit about Elon Musk earlier.
Yeah. If you like our videos, go ahead and click on like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
I just feel like he's such an interesting person, because he's such a visionary. And I was doing a little research about his life, and he didn't have like a super easy life like a lot of people do, come from comfortable circumstances, I saw his mom on a video and I thought she sounded like such a really neat lady. Like she said, I made my children work hard. They had to enroll in college themselves and get all their scholarships themselves. She was basically like a single mom, so, but aside from all that, my stepfather was the one that actually told me about him originally, because he's a car guy. So we were talking about Tesla. This was years ago. And he was like, that Elon Musk guy, the guy that started PayPal and all that. I didn't even know who he was. And then, but not just, Tesla. It's like he's got that SpaceX program going, which now it's got America back involved in the going to other planets eventually,
Yeah, he's an odd person. Sometimes you think he doesn't know what he's talking about, but sometimes you think, well, maybe he's just talking about things that I don't really understand what he's talking about. I'm the one that doesn't know what he's talking about. Joe Rogan was saying it's kind of like, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but he probably, when he's talking to us normal people, to him, it's probably like us talking to an ape or a dog, something like that.
Well,
he's so far above us in his thinking.
I saw him being interviewed by this couple. I think I told you about it. He was at some event, and I thought, wow, he's very cool because he's so intelligent, but he explains things in a very, in a way that everybody can understand. And and he doesn't seem like, well, about physics and blah, 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 so you don't feel like you're being talked down to, or,
Yeah.
And I actually I saw an episode the other day of Jay Leno. He has a show, Jay Leno, about cars, and Elon Musk was on it. And he had it was his Cybertruck. He's got this new Cybertruck thing that is different than any other kind of truck. It looks very futuristic, and I don't know if it's caught on. I don't know if it's not my taste yet, but maybe it'll grow on me. But it's very cool. It's this big truck, and he was on Jay Leno, and they were going to that tunnel that he has. Like he built a little underground tunnel in Hawthorne. I guess it's his property, and he has a company called the Boring Company, and they did a little underground tunnel because he was experimenting with passages where you could put your car down in the tunnel and then go, I don't know, let's say a mile or two, and then it comes back up, because he's trying to experiment with it's supposed to help with traffic, basically.
Oh, okay.
So I know he was talking about doing it in Las Vegas too, but I don't know if he started that yet.
Kind of like subways for cars, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess it's got to be super secure because of the earthquakes,
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know.
I mean, I'd probably try it, but I'd be like, but no. But the thing I like about him the most is that he seems like he's really trying to. He doesn't just seem like this out for himself. I mean, I know. People will say that he's a billionaire and why isn't he doing more of this and the other? But I feel like in his heart, he's like a good guy that's really trying to help humanity. He may be getting very rich off the process, but hey, he's like our Thomas Edison,
Well, yeah, I think he's like a real inventor. Inventors are curious. And I don't think it's purely, charitable
altruistic.
That he's just, altruistic. I think he's just curious, and like it's for his own self-satisfaction.
Sure.
But he's got the advanced brain, I guess, to understand
advanced brain power.
Yeah, and like AI and all that, he was trying to talk about that with Joe Rogan. He's got some new things coming in the works that he couldn't talk about yet. But yeah, I mean, people like him. This is one of the reasons that I say everybody deserves an equal opportunity to start out in life, because how many people like him didn't get to go to college, or didn't, whatever, didn't get the chance to, didn't have a mother who encouraged them to live up to their potential, or didn't hold them accountable, or,
and the other thing I was reading, when I was reading about him, he was saying that, which I thought was kind of funny. You don't hear this often. I thought it was kind of cool. He was like, I really liked the idea of America and coming to America, because he said to himself that in America, great things get done, and it's the kind of country where he felt he could do his best good. And I thought, wow, that's really, you don't hear too many people saying good things about America anymore.
Well,
but we have done a lot of bad things. I know we have, but there's still that possibility. I guess that's always the hope, right? That there's possibility.
Yeah.
So it's a dream. No.
And we've got Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg and a lot of great people who had, a great effect and influence on our society. So we are lucky that we were able to give them those opportunities and let them have a platform to develop on what we already have done before. So America still is the land of opportunity. It just isn't as equal opportunity as it used to be. So we hope that changes.
And I think that Elon Musk has actually talked a lot about AI, and I was reading that he thinks that's the biggest threat to our future is artificial intelligence, and that's why he's in favor of universal basic income. Coming back to Andrew Yang, because I guess he feels like in the future it's, I was reading about, he was talking about his cars, and he was saying that, in the future it's going to be all driverless cars, and you're actually going to have your car I read where he said you're going to have your car out making money for you while you're at home doing whatever, like,
I like that.
Your car is going to be the Uber driver, the Lyft driver, but nobody there, So that's an interesting
one thing that we're facing right now is, when everybody goes to Walmart or the grocery store and they have the self-checkout, and I've got friends that get mad about it. And I say, why would you want someone to have to do a mundane job of checking people out and standing there? Yes, it's a job, but why don't we get to the point where we automate more and more, like we did with the Industrial Revolution? We automated a lot, so we had a shorter work week. We should take advantage of these things, and then we should be working less. We shouldn't be working, when AI is introduced more and more and more, we should still be making an income, a livable income, but working fewer hours so that we have more time to explore the arts and educate ourselves, because now we're overwhelmed with information. A college education is just a drop in the bucket of the knowledge that's out there. So on the internet, you can self-educate. So if we have more free time, or even just more free time to do charitable things, or to do your own tinkering and inventing, or to spend time with friends, or be more introspective, or do yoga or whatever.
Right, the great American novel.
Yeah, so we're all so brainwashed that you have to have this 40-hour, oh my gosh, what if we don't have our 40-hour work week? Well, we didn't always have a 40-hour work week. We used to work 60 and 80 hours.
Yeah.
So, we want to keep advancing and keep making things easier, though we don't want to become weak and lazy, because if life becomes too easy, that tends to happen too. I think challenge ourselves in other ways.
Andrew Yang was talking about it in his book. I believe that's where it was. Where he was talking about doctors, doing some operations now from not in the room and, in another area. That scares me a little bit, but just because of the thought of a machine doing stuff, but we'll see.
Yeah. You want somebody there in case.
They were saying you would have a nurse practitioner or somebody could take over some of the work, but I don't know. It's kind of scares me at this moment, but as all things, sometimes you get used to things, the first time you do it,
Yeah, it will develop, and they will perfect things, and it'll become the norm. Like all these other things, driving in a car, that's scary. Going 80 miles an hour on a freeway, I'm sure, at one point people were nervous about that and scared, but now it's a way of life. We do it, and we're risking our lives.
And the first time I heard about even driverless cars, I remember I was like, oh no, but then I was reading that statistics show that less accidents happen,
they still happen, but fewer.
Yeah, exactly. So statistically, it's supposed to be better. But when I first heard about it, I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I want cars driving around without anyone in them.
Yeah, that would be a little scary to,
And even the trucks that are going to happen, that's going to happen, more driverless.
Yeah, the big
trucks.
semis. They could be mowing people down. And if
you're,
there's people that are control freaks. They always have to drive, like they won't ride with anyone else. So they're going to really struggle with it. So
yeah, that's true. Good point. And I have many relatives like that. It's like,
they always want to be the one to drive because they're, well, I don't even like to fly anymore. Flying scares me.
Really?
I don't like losing that control.
I'm opposite. I used to be more scared of when I was a kid. My mom used to take me all over because of her job. We had to go to Asia and all these different places. I'd be on the plane for like 12, 14 hours. And it used to freak me out because I'm like the type, I like to be on the ground. And so I'm a very grounded person. But I remember I would do all these things to psych myself up. And then finally I would say, okay, so if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. So I just have to get over it, so I'm getting better and better and better, But when I used to sing with the USO, when I did those tours, everybody was like, do you want to fly the soldiers would let us fly the helicopters. They would be next to us. And I was the only one that's like, no, that's okay. I'll stay here.
On the ground.
Yeah, I'll stay on the ground. Then they come back and get us. But all the other girls were more fearless than me. So we're like, yeah, I want to fly the helicopters.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that too.
I've gotten better. So it's just funny because when I was a kid, I used to hate flying. It just, because I always thought, the chances are, the chances are a lot better of crashing in a car than they are of airplane. But if you crash in the airplane, there's less chance of surviving. That's the problem.
It reminds me, my boyfriend and I were flying to Lake Tahoe once on vacation, and I had these bags of chips, and I go, honey, okay, if we go down, don't tell anyone, but I have this that we can eat. We eat this. And he just looked at me like I was not, he goes, babe, if we go down, we're not going to be eating any chips because we're going to be smashed. We're going to be dead.
That's true. They're going to be crushed.
I was like hiding my chips from everyone.
That's so funny. I always had this idea in my head. I thought I was so clever. I'm like, the perfect food to take on an airplane is beef jerky or something that's jerky.
Yeah, it'll last
forever. Yeah. And it won't get crunched in a plane crash,
Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah, well, with flying now, it's like, now I want to go somewhere, but you can't go anywhere because, the flying is down. Trips are down.
Yeah, you can't fly.
So anyway, but
Elon Musk is quite an interesting guy. He's, I think he'd be really fun to just hang with and pick his brain and talk to. That's why I liked watching him on the Joe Rogan podcast, because they sat there. I think they even smoked pot.
Was that the one where you smoked pot? Because I did see that one.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I didn't know that was Joe Rogan at the time, because you're the one that turned me on to Joe Rogan. But I think I just saw that interview and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And he's from South Africa, and I have family like generations ago that were from South Africa. So I always think, I'd like to talk to him about South Africa. But I've never been there, but it's supposed to be beautiful. So Anywho,
well, now we have him. We got Elon Musk from them. So
and all the SpaceX, what was his project? What was his place? His project was called the Crew Dragon, but the actual Falcon 9 was the thing that he launched, Falcon 9. And so it's just interesting how it's an American thing, but he is South African without his, he's an immigrant, and so I was just thinking about that. I was reading about it, like, with Donald Trump and his like anti-immigration thing, It's like sometimes we get really, really cool.
Well, people. That's what Donald Trump's argument is. And I'm not a Donald Trump fan at all, right. But his argument,
I know what you're going to say.
He wants
engineers, scientists.
Of immigrants. And at one point in our country that we were selective about who we let in the country.
We have periods of time when we still are,
Yeah. Although what I would prefer is that we help other countries so people don't want to leave their own country instead of us bombing other countries and driving the people out. I would prefer that we actually really help them instead of pretending like we are and whatever, going for freedom. And war for freedom doesn't make sense. So anyway, that's what I would prefer.
No, you're right. He's more selective, or Donald Trump is a proponent of having only certain classifications of people, mostly from Northern European countries, if possible.
Well, educated. He wants educated people to come to our country and make us better and greater. And You can't blame a country for wanting to be better and greater. And I think in this country we have slipped backwards a little bit. We've just let ourselves slip backwards. So I do think we need to reinvest in our people.
Sure.
For a while.
It's true. I mean, I know some people get mad at some people that come here to go to school and then go back to their own country, you know, but I can't say I blame them, you know, if they're going to get a good education here and they're actually paying a lot of money into our economy.
Well, and I think it's good to be exposed to other cultures. I think I'm not saying that they shouldn't come here and educate themselves, but I do also think that when we accept immigrants, they do have to do some integration into our way of life, and not there's a reason when you leave your country, if it's torn to pieces or falling apart, you don't want to live by the same standards. You want to raise your standards. So when we bring immigrants, and we want to make sure that, I mean, we have a lot of hardworking immigrants. I am not anti-immigrant at all. I just feel like we've gotten off track with what it is and what it should be. And now we just want to, open borders. You're not a country if you have open borders. That's not a country anymore. Our government knows our social security numbers. They've got, records of our driver's license, and they know our address and phone number, where we are, from the IRS. So I don't think we should just have people crossing our border that we lose track of, and we don't even know who they are or where they are. So, and the Democrats believe that too. It's just become such a hot point issue, that both parties are using it to divide. Right.
It's become that's true.
Yeah, didn't mean to get off the topic on immigration.
Yeah, we just were talking about Elon Musk.
Yeah,
what a great immigrant he was.
Yes, we got lucky with him.
Did you see that funny video I posted on Facebook about Arnold Schwarzenegger, speaking of immigrants? It was really funny. It made me cry. It was right around 4th of July, and he was talking about how when he first came to America, I thought I talked about this already, but anyway, he first came to America.
I don't remember.
He was broke. He didn't have anything, and all these guys came over to his apartment with a TV and all this stuff.
Yeah,
remember?
You did.
And he was when he got his citizenship, he was like, I was wearing the flag around all day on Venice Beach.
Aw, how cute.
I just thought it was touching, so I've mentioned it twice now. I will never say it again.
No, it's a good story. It's a sweet story.
Yeah, anyway. So, we need more innovators like Elon Musk, because he's, not only has he developed a lot of countries, I wish, not only developed a lot of companies, but he is always constantly pushing the boundaries of what possibilities I think could be,
Yeah.
Like you said, it could be for his own inquisitive mind, just to see how far we can go. But it's definitely helped us in a lot of ways.
We've benefited from his, and more inventors is good. I've lived around the country in a lot of different places, a lot of different states, and it's amazing the different cultures that you experience when you're different, like being here in Wyoming. It's different. They do things differently, and people it's funny, people figure things out. They invent things, people are very innovative. They learn to adapt, and what they can't live with, they change, or they fix, or they improve.
Yeah, there's that old saying, necessity is the mother of invention, right? It's so true.
Yeah.
And America's so big, so that's what people forget, like Europe, like Italy is the size of, smaller than California, I believe.
A state.
Yeah, so that's why we're have so
we're like 50 different countries.
Yeah, living in one.
And I think we should allow the states to have more control over how they live, because if somebody really wants to live a certain way, like here in Wyoming, there's a lot of ranchers, and it's kind of cowboy mentality and the way they want to live. So why come here and try to change it? Let them live the way they want to live. The people here are happy living that way. So
freedom to be you and me.
That's what America's supposed to be. So, within reason, as long as, I'm for human rights and civil rights. I don't think that people should be allowed to be discriminatory against other people or hurt other people or anything like that. But, just your way of life or culture, that I think that's interesting about this country.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's a unique experiment, America, you know, and we're still experimenting.
Yeah, we're winning some and losing some.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, great. So I guess we're gonna let you go, right? And we'll see you next.
Yeah, and I guess, to give people something to think about as they walk away from this, do some research on Elon Musk and artificial intelligence and
Yes.
Andrew Yang, and these are innovators. These are the people that are laying out our future. And we should educate ourselves and learn to not be so scared of it and just run from, no, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not interested in that because, the news told me it's bad.
Right.
Educate yourself and
Sure.
do some research and give a little more thought to what our future is going to look like. And it's good. It's promising.
And speaking of Andrew Yang, I was just going to say, he's not down and out. I think he's going to be he's in politics for the long haul.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up in the cabinet.
That's what I'm thinking.
If Joe Biden wins, and if not, he's still going to be around, and he'll probably run again. He'll probably run in the future. So
go, Andrew.
Anyway. We'll see. Who knows? Anyway, good to see you, Kimbra.
You too, and
thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time on Kellie and Kimbra in the Moment.
Bye.